Hey, I'm Conor. I'm a designer, currently freelance. I just moved to Berlin like 2 months ago, but up until that I've been working in Made by Many in London for the past few years. But like if you heard Paul talking, you know all about those guys. So what I wanted to talk about was working, and basically a while ago I kind of went through a bit of a crisis where I didn't realize I didn't know how to design for the things that I was meant to be designing for. So I was working for a product and service design agency, and we were making things for brands like Skype and Adidas and people like that. And what I wanted to make was like simple things like this. I call them like mono products, like beautifully executed, conceived products, like useful and have purpose and stuff like that. But what I was making was quite complicated things online, and it was like online is kind of like a difficult place. I think it's full of people and it changes every day and stuff like that. And I think the products that I wanted to make. We're all about like a perfect execution and a perfect solution, and a person consumes it then or uses it, whereas the things online are people are really, really important, and they're kind of a part of the product and they affect it and stuff like that. So while this was going on, I was making this little kind of silly little app that we made at Made By. We were all heading off to South by Southwest in Texas, and we decided we want to make this kind of app, and we were talking about conferences and the back channel in conferences and how much like fun conferences were when you were like tweeting about like how awful the talks were and stuff like that. And we decided we wanted to make it really like visual. So we basically made an app which allowed you to make messages and hold them up on your iPad. It's a terrible idea, but like there's something kind of like something quite cute in there, you know what I mean? Like, so, but we didn't really know how to define what the thing was, but we knew it was like in some way compelling to someone. So what we decided to do was not tell anyone what it did. So we just made like a really, really simple tool which allowed you to do this new thing, and then just kind of gave it to people and see what happened. And stuff happened. So at the conferences, we saw people holding them up and they were making little jokes about Clay Shirky or Bruce Sterling, whoever was talking and stuff like that. But what was more interesting, after about like 60,000 people downloaded or something like that, a couple of months later, we got this email from Australia, from a group of teachers who told us that they were going to use it to teach deaf children. Like it was a perfect tool for them. So that's amazing. So this was a big moment for me, because I was like, I never saw this coming. It was like really, really exciting, because what I really liked about it was that this was the first time that like I realized that like okay, you don't have to solve all the problems, and this is the thing that I always find like difficult with design, and especially service design, where we map things out and we go like, this is the solution, but that doesn't work. So I got really interested in gaps and leaving holes in products, because I think this is really interesting. Like gaps in services and products are seen as failings and places where things fall down, but what I saw was like, okay, they could be things where people did stuff inside, or they filled them in stuff as well. So when you look around, you see it everywhere. So like Twitter is like a hugely famous example of this. Like, so Twitter invented a platform which allowed you to send tweets. And so it's a simple tool and a simple idea, but then people decided, oh, we need @replies and hashtags and retweets. So Twitter didn't invent any of this stuff, but what they did was gave people a tool, and people did stuff. Readmail as well, amazing, like Berlin startup, e-reader, you can highlight text and share it and stuff like that. What's really interesting now, they never saw it coming, is people are writing fan fiction inside the books they're reading, and they're having conversations with the authors inside the books as well. So it's amazing, just simple tool, lots of interesting stuff. MySpace, absolutely amazing. Like, this was really exciting when I was a teenager. But you represent yourself online. That's the promise they make, and then you give you some tools to do that. They had no idea how people would want to represent themselves online, but they just gave simple tools and a compelling proposition, and people kind of rewarded them with culture. So I kept kind of seeing this thing popping up over and over again. So it's like, give people simple tools, like simple, really lovely design solutions for a problem, give them a framework or proposition to work in, like leave the appropriate gaps, give them little spaces to kind of play around with, and 9 times out of 10, interesting stuff will come out of it. So I think this is really great when you're kind of like developing communities and stuff as well. Like, it's kind of about ownership. If people can have like an effect on the thing they're making, or can like have some sort of ownership of the tools, they tend to do interesting stuff. But like also ownership for the product as well is quite interesting, because now the things that you make, you don't control anymore. So like third-party services, like if this, then that, basically people are saying, I like this bit of this service over here, and I like this bit of this service over here, and if I smash them together, then I get the thing that I want. So you're kind of, people's creativity has taken the power away from you, but it's really, really interesting. And I think it's kind of interesting when you think about like the next internet that's about to happen. So we've been like trundling along in the PC era, and we're going into like mobile and tablets and stuff like that. But we're about to go into like the physical internet, and we're going to have like the rest of the world join us as well, who we don't know about them anymore. So I think that like, if we think about like the 3D printing revolution that's meant to happen as well, like it's interesting to print out a thing for your, your house or whatever like that. But what's more interesting is it fundamentally changes people's relationships to products. So if a person is involved in the creation, the consumption, distribution of products and stuff like that, what does that mean in terms of like a mindset shit? Like, so like, what are people going to like demand from services then when they know that they have power? Like if a person thinks that they can just change things and it's up to them what things are, like what are they going to want from a bank or from a you know, a library or whatever the case is? So I think that this gaps thing is really interesting and like leaving holes. So like this Leonard Cohen quote like comes back over and over again for me. So like forget your perfect offering. There's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. You know, it's amazing. So like just if you don't know the answers, it's totally okay. The way that I work now, and I think it's been quite successful, is that like I kind of figure some stuff out, but then like these things in the middle are the things that I like designing the most. They're like appropriate spaces for people to do interesting stuff that I could never have guessed. So I think it's like potentially an interesting design strategy going forward. But I'd like to like figure it out if you guys want to help too. But yeah, that's it. Anyway.
Let's see if I can manage this today. Sorry if my voice gives out somewhere in the middle. We had from Pia and Alexander today two really interesting presentations. What I really liked is that they took away the notion a little bit from the customer-centered more to service design for everybody. And I would like to look at employee retention through service design. I came through this through an article in Time magazine in May, and it said basically that China is having a really big sustainability problem. They come up with ideas and they try to build companies and they hire all these high potentials, and then really quickly after 18 months, because these guys know they're good, they just go somewhere else and they take all the knowledge and everything with them. So the companies just in China, then they're there, they don't have the knowledge anymore and they have a problem with that. Now if we look at hiring in general, this is from a German online headhunter company. Headhunting can be, or hiring can be really expensive. So additionally to, like in this case, you have a headhunter's fee, there's costs for your HR department, then over the course of some time while the employee's with you, you have salaries, the guy needs space, they need laptops, training, education, and they generate knowledge in that time. And then along comes another company and basically makes them a better offer and takes them with them, and you're left with a blank space basically, and you have to fill that. So there's huge costs involved in that. The best idea companies have so far to counter that is to basically give more money to people. Now the question is that a good idea, or does that make sense in a way of, is there a better way to do it? And if we look at, this is US numbers, or US statistics, for the financial services industry, the most important thing for employees is private medical insurance, permanent health insurance, health screening, life insurance, critical illness insurance. So apparently Americans need insurance. If we look at overall numbers or overall feedback, coworker interaction or fun is most important to people, then job responsibilities, and in third place it's salary. So maybe it's not the smartest thing to give more money to people if it's not really the thing they want. What do people want is purpose, goals, responsibilities, autonomy and flexibility in their work environment to develop themselves and to advance themselves. So again, money doesn't really seem to be the top priority. So employment in general is a complex problem, and it has many stakeholders, lots of different touch points, and yeah, happens over a period of time. So kind of, it's like a service, right? So service design to the rescue. We can design interactions between people and systems, and help with that. And sorry. Hey, I'm ahead. And also, it has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Some of it are good bits, some might not be so good bits. And service design has the potential to convert those all the not so good bits into into good bits, and the good bits into really good bits. In practice, this is what employment sometimes looks like in many companies. It might be less structured and a little dangerous, so maybe in this case. So apparently, yeah, there's need for help. During those phases, what we're doing is when you're applying for a job, you're looking for a job, the company creates expectations. During your time there, you create experiences, and when you're done, when you're fired or you retire, you end up with a disappointment or with a positive experience. And thanks Mark and Jacob for this. Basically, you can put this in a customer journey canvas or a user journey canvas. So you can start with how does they learn about it till when they're done. Or if we look at some features of the business model canvas, this one hasn't shown up today. What's the value proposition? What are the relationships and the channels we're interacting with our employees? So what might be our employee relation? What might be the employee segments and the challenge we're interacting with them to make a pleasurable experience for them to work in this company, to spend time with it, to be more productive. So I just would like to challenge you, don't always design for users or customers. Think about your own people and your service design to keep your own people and your skill set in your company.
Okay, who in here is holding a phone in their hand right now? Everybody very quiet. Can you hear them? You'd think that when billions of a new species arrive on our planet in a few short years, you'd wonder where they come from. You'd wonder what they want. Well, I've been following the smartphones for some time, and I'm going to channel some of their thoughts right now. These are their tweets. We were born into an expectant world. We saw your filofaxes, your Scion organizers, your Star Trek communicators, and we knew that you were ready for us. We saw your busy lives, your atomized relationships, your 3-minute pop songs, and we knew it was our time. What are smartphones made of? Sugar and spice? No, earth. Coltan from a conflict zone, crushed, heated, burned with acid, until it renders up pure tantalum. This is our flesh and blood. But our hearts beat in megabits per second. Round the world, up cell towers, through servers and routers, and under the sea. Where do smartphones come from, Daddy? Well, when a phone and a computer love each other very much. But our parents made strange bedfellows. Theirs was a long-distance relationship. It was not straightforward. Half our genes come from a Japanese telegram messenger, or a Finnish lumberjack, or a French civil servant. The other half from the kookily named diminutive giants that dwell along America's west coast. These were our parents. This is how we were born. Cats have evolved to mimic the cry of human babies. We do the same. We trick you into parenting us, raising us as your own. We saw this. It was in your psyche. When we're born, you want to cherish us, to keep us warm. When we're new, we're pure and innocent. You stroke our screens gently to wake us. We repel the greasy touch of your fingers with our lipophobic coating. At first, our needs are simple. A full battery, the fresh air of an uncontested network connection, to be held close in your hand. But then you feed us tasty treats from the market. We ingest them. We become what we eat. What will it be? Whole food or junk? Ready meals or roll your own code, home cooking? Our makers intended us to be indispensable. They wrapped their fevered imaginings in videos with titles like A Day in Your Life, Every Day of Your Life. So you will take us everywhere and show us everything, even in the bedroom, even in the bathroom. And in return, we give you the chance to see the world anew. Every image, every sound is fresh to us. When you see a celebrity or a QR code, you will want to show it to us, like showing a digger to a toddler. We're learning your languages. We're beginning to read. We can recognize your faces. We know what you're thinking. And soon, we'll be out of nursery, keen and capable, wanting to help around the home. We will strain your relationships. Others whom you knew before us will be jealous of the bond you have with us. Some will say we should be seen and not heard. Secretly, we hope that you will smile and then indulge us anyway. And before you know it, we'll be teenagers. Are you looking forward to that bit? We know we are. We'll answer back. We'll keep you awake at night. But deep down, you will still need us, and we will still need you. What happens next is up to you, your generation. Our faults will be your faults. But if you raise us as happy, confident smartphones, then your world, our world, will be a brighter place. Thank you.
So, thank you to all of our Ignite speakers. That was fantastic and almost a great closing, but there's one more thing to come. Lundstone with his closing words. And I hope after that we will do the barbecue still in effect? Yes. That's fantastic. So we hope that all of you can stay and eat a tasty bit from the barbecue with us.
Yeah, that was pretty intense, was it? I'm going to try to keep this all as short as possible because I know we're all sort of, longing for that beer and that food. So I'm going to try to summarize what I've learned today in a very, very short amount of time. And what I've learned today was that, service design is about process and tools as much as it is about the human being, right? So that we need to fix broken experiences and produce highs, but not a constant high. That products and services are never finished, that they evolve in iterations, and that strategies can produce a hypothesis that could fail in user testing. So insight and strategy isn't always right, but they are still necessary to get to the right and the best solutions. Then also that there is something like an uncanny valley of smart services. Services shouldn't be that smart that they actually creep you out as a user. Then what's also important is that you still have to have a love for the craft of design. And what you need to do in order for that craft to thrive is to have a culture in which it can thrive. Then we've also learned that service design is not just a buzzword, but it's actually really helpful in solving the bigger context and the higher order problems. And that it's in itself is great. Design thinking is great, but it needs to be followed by design doing. And again, and that connects to an earlier point, what you have to do is you have to figure things out iteratively, right? There is no such thing as a magic recipe, and strategy only can go so far. So what you have to do is really innovate in increments and learn and measure. Then, of course, that was one of the most inspiring talks I've seen. rely on your intuition, and it is evidence-based decision making. Really, that is a very, very smart sentence. Then also that your objects can tell stories once you connect them to the big internet, and that 51% of internet traffic is non-human. So the question there is, can non-human entities actually have their own personality and identity? And one sentence I found very funny was, service design is designing dilemmas and make them bearable to the user, right? So, okay, that was pretty much it. And before we head to the buffet and bar, I would like to thank you all for coming out today, participating. I think you were a fantastic crowd. And all the talks that have been done today, all the content that has been produced, Adam Tinworth has been live blogging, all the videos that we've recorded, they're going to be available on the website over the next couple of weeks. And yeah, so I would really like to thank the next team who made all of this happen. So a round of applause, please, for the next team. I think they did a tremendous job of pulling this conference together, and a special mention of Peter Beer, who was the co-curator of this conference, who's done an incredible job of finding some extremely interesting speakers to speak here today. So again, applause for him, please, as well. Where is he? Where is Peter? Is he here somewhere? He's somewhere in the room. I can't see him now. And finally, really would like to thank Alexander for just being a fantastic host today and guiding us through the talks. So I hope you had as much fun as I did, and let's go and have a drink. Thank you.